Coach's Corner with Heck and King live at Corby's Irish Pub is presented by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, Han Funeral Homes and Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka, and the Harbor Group Planned Wealth in Anderson.
If you're watching on live, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and comment in the live chat. If you're listening on audio podcasts, follow the show and leave a 5-star review. Now here's Heck and King.
And here is Heck, King, and Peterson tonight, man. I got the great Patrick J. King. What's your middle name?
Lee.
I got the great Patrick L. King to my right and the great Kenny Peterson to his right. The ultimate fact checker. If we say one thing that ain't correct, that ain't close, he smacks us and he gives us he gives us the correct info. We have a great show tonight. We're coming to you from a rainy, kind of an overcast Thursday night in South Bend at the great Corby's Irish Pub. We had a lot of fog this morning. I know you at Elkhart had a 2-hour delay. We did not have one. The big three in this area, Penn, South Bend, and Mishawaka, did not have delay. However, I had to wear my orange tennis shoes.
Oh, Lord.
Just to see where I was going this morning.
Trust me, they're orange.
Oh. I had to see where I was going this morning because I couldn't see. It was foggy, and I'm going, we should have a 2-hour delay, man.
It was like reflectors, maybe.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the superintendent and see if they can get that taken care of.
Well, no, we got forget the superintendents. Forget the superintendents. We need to make our own call. Us teachers need to call and say
we're not coming in.
I ain't coming.
Well, we're going to get to do it again in the morning, it sounds like.
Really?
Yep.
So I remember when I was in college, I was a senior night starter for like 3 straight years. My college coach came to me, he said, hey, Heck, he said, I ain't starting you tonight. I'm going to start a young freshman tonight. We weren't very good. I looked at him, I said, Coach, I ain't starting, I'm departing. I'm just saying, I ain't starting, I'm departing. He looked at me and he waved. I said, I was just kidding, but if I ain't playing.
He said, we'll miss you.
Yeah.
He pulled a John Wooden on Bill Walton.
Yeah, but I said, okay, but here's the next thing. If I ain't playing, I ain't staying. You never said that at Butler?
Ron, we're going to miss you.
You never said that to your coach at Butler?
No, heavens no. I was on the end of the bench. I would go like this. Theo, right down here if you need me.
Man, you know what? Playing was the ultimate for me. And when I did the Holy Cross senior night in their last game of the season about 10 days ago over at Holy Cross, and I don't know, they had 4 or 5 seniors, and it brought me back to my days of my last college game at Manchester College. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, man, when that game was over and I knew I was never going to wear a school sponsored jersey again. I mean, it was so hard for me to take my uniform off. And I had tears, not because we either won or lost. I had tears because of not being part of a team again.
Right. And you knew it was time to go find a job.
Yeah, no, I had 3 hots in a cot.
I know.
And I had all the chicks I needed, and Manchester was Manchester. And now all of a sudden, son, you're graduating. And I said, man, can I stay another year? Come on.
I had 2 senior days. I got a jersey for both of them. They let me take my jersey home.
Where? From Butler. From Butler and Anderson, right?
No, Butler and Butler.
Why did you have 2 senior days?
Well, one for football, one for basketball.
Oh, cool. You got your basketball. You got your Butler basketball jersey?
Used to. It's gone now. I don't know where. One of the moves that disappeared. We had the old white ones with the pinstripes on them. They were pretty cool. We had pinstripes before the Pacers did in the 90s.
Wow.
Well, and we have a great guest tonight. Hopping on in probably about 6 minutes. He's down in Evansville now. He has to run a baseball clinic tonight in Evansville, but it's Robert Falcons. He's with the He's an IHSAA assistant commissioner. And Robert is from South Bend.
Mm-hmm.
He's a South Bend LaSalle guy. His father was a great coach in South Bend at LaSalle. And you know what? And I told Robert, I said, I got one question. I said, if I got you for 20 minutes, I ain't asking how the family is. I ain't asking how your brothers are. I ain't doing none of that. I'm just asking you, can you tell us what NIL will look like at the high school level?
Did you ask him if he got the right time zone this week, unlike last week?
Well, that's a good point.
That's a hell of a
Evansville's on. Are they on Central Time?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but he lives in Indy. I mean, working for the IHSA. So I'm hoping that Robert has that figured out. But anyway, so excited to have him on. And then there's a hell of a lot of basketball to talk about.
Oh boy, it is tourney time for Indiana high school boys. We are right in the middle of it. We've had some Tuesday, Wednesday ball games. We've got college going on. The women are playing right. Today Notre Dame's women had a 1:00 today. They won their first game that they've played, and the men are into their final weekend.
Wow!
And then next week is tournament time for the Big Five. Some of the smaller conferences start tonight. Matter of fact, what we'll call the Group of Five schools, and I don't know if there such a thing as a good time to maybe bring up this. I've got a theory that I want to throw in front of everybody.
I don't think you should bring it up now because when Robert comes on, we're going to cut to the chase.
Yeah.
But I want to tell Kenny this. I was somewhere, and I can't remember where. It might have been.
Your food's over there, by the way.
I know where it was. It was on Tuesday night. I went to the Adams and Mishawaka game because I hadn't seen Mishawaka play yet this year. I did. In the past, I broadcast all their games. Now I switched alliances, and I'm now a St. Joe Indian /
Husky.
Okay.
But some guy I was sitting by at the game, he knew who I was, and he all of a sudden he says, "Hey, heck, I thought you were really good in high school." I said, "Thank you." I said, "Thank you." He said, "No, you only scored like 180 some points." I said, "What do you mean?" Pulled up the ET Pearl site.
Did he really?
He had the ET Pearl site right in front of me.
Wow, that's cool.
And showed me exactly how much I scored and all that stuff. And I said, one of my really good friends is the guy who runs this site. And he talked about it. We talked about it, and
cool.
how people can actually go back and kind of relive that era of when we played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how cool would it be for you to be able to go back and relive the NCC era when you were playing at Anderson and remember the players, right?
Remember the players, that's for sure. Now, what that does, it puts people our age on the spot, because let's say you played at Bremen, or you played at Plymouth, or you played at Couts, or Morgan Township, and you started talking about back in the day, I scored this, I scored that. You know what? The kids and the grandkids can go look it up.
Absolutely. and right now, I just to let you guys know, I've been updating things here throughout the tournament. So Tuesday night was Update Central at the house.
Okay.
Just updating, and as soon as games were done, we were posting the final regular season scores for the year, and individual points will be coming, and hopefully first part of April we'll have everything caught up.
I'll tell you what I did. And I was kind of reminiscing, and we all do that, man. We all think about, man, when I played or this game or that game. But my first game, my senior year, and I got a great picture of it. I went to Lake Michigan and threw a whole bottle of sun in on my head in the summer, and my head was white. Okay, my head was white. My dad, I came home from that day at the beach, and 2 days later, my hair turned white. My dad was pissed.
I bet.
And my dad said, "I don't care what you do, but that stuff, when it starts growing out and you're half and half, you ain't cutting it. You're going to look like an idiot your whole senior year because it's going to be half white, half brown as it starts to grow out."
Look like an albino skunk.
Yeah. So I look at a picture of myself, my first game of the year. We played at New Prairie, 1974. So I go to ET Pearls, and I knew New Prairie had a really good player in 1974, but I couldn't remember his name. And I go and I look up their roster 74. It was a kid named John Bunton.
Jim Bunton.
Jim Bunton.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was like my age or my size, my age, and he was really, really, really good. And so it brought me back. And in this picture, I got two-tone hair. I got half of it's white, half of it's like a brownish. And it brought me back to my dad to my dad saying that to me. But I got a better one, and I don't know if your dad did this to you when you came back from Texas. Okay, my dad did this to me. I get a scholarship to St. Edward's University. I play basketball at St. Ed's, and I leave in August. I come back home, and I mean, my hair's down to my shoulders.
Yeah.
And so I get off the plane. My dad picks me up at the airport. I get off the plane. I got a cowboy hat on. I got cowboy boots. And he hugs me, Ronnie, you're home, blah, blah, blah. You know, my hair's real long. So we're driving. He drives me past our house. I said, Dad, you got to turn left here. This is where we live. He said, oh, no. I said, what do you mean? Oh, no. He said, I'm taking you to the barber shop right now.
Nice.
So I said, Dad, let me go home and let Mom see my hair. He said, hell no. So I go back in 1975. Haircuts were $1 a piece, a quarter for each corner. And,
Nice.
And I go get scalped. Did that happen to you when you came back from Texas?
No. When I came back from Texas, it happened in college.
Oh, I mean, when you came home, your dad said, you getting a haircut, dude.
He looked at me and said, what is this? And I said, I couldn't find a barber. He said, well, I know where one is. He took me down to the Edgewood Plaza. And
isn't that amazing how powerful our fathers were in our lives? Mm-hmm. At age 18 and 19, you know, now you see kids running around and their fathers have no say in their lives. And even, you know, when I talk to some students, I say, hey, you know, doesn't your dad care? No, my dad ain't telling me what to do. I could just see me telling, or you telling Big Pat, no, you ain't telling me what to do, Big Pat.
Yeah, as long as you're living there, it was one of those my house, my rules. I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 22.
No, 100%. I am playing Sly and the Family Stone's Greatest Hits in my room. I got a little record player, blah, blah, blah. I got speakers everywhere. I'm playing it really, really loud. My dad comes in and he says, turn that blankety stuff down. I ain't listening to it. I said, Dad, come on. This is Sly and the Family Stone's Greatest Hits. He said, if you don't turn it down, I'm breaking it. I said, Dad, you bought me the album. You ain't breaking it. 2 minutes later, I didn't turn it on. He comes in with a hammer, takes it off the thing, smokes it, breaks it. But that's what our fathers were, right?
Yes.
And we listened to them, right?
Yes.
Yes. And do we have Robert Falcons on?
He's here. He's waiting on you to finish.
Robert, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm just listening to you tell stories about your dad, and I'm feeling your pain. I know some of those same stories you just told. My dad did the same things to me.
Oh, and your dad, you know, speaking about your dad, the great Eddie Falcons, man. I mean, coaching at LaSalle. My wife had your dad as a health teacher, and my wife still talks about your dad today, man.
Yeah, I can't come home to South Bend without running to somebody that had my dad as a player, as a teacher, or just, I mean, Little League coach, everything. There are very few people I run to in South Bend that don't have a story about my dad. And listen, you tell your stories about your dad. I've got 100 of those just like him.
Yeah, so I got to tell you one that I never told you. When your father passed away, I was living in Indy, and Monica saw it, you know, that your father had passed away, and she saw when the viewing was. And I want to say the viewing was at Hickory Funeral Home on Lincoln Way. That's what I want to say. Is that correct?
Yes, it was on Lincoln Way. Yeah, right across.
Yeah. Yeah. So Monica and I get in the car, and from South Bend to Indianapolis, we're driving 90 miles an hour, so Monica can get to the funeral home to see your father and pay her respects to your father. We pull into the funeral home, and the last car is leaving. The lights are all out. We missed it by 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry to hear that. It was a blast. I mean, it was a blast the entire time. Like you said, I heard so many stories about my dad that I hadn't heard, and it was fun. It was a great. In spite of all that tragedy, it was a great time.
Yeah, and it always is because the memories that you have and the pictures that you have, you know, they're in your heart, and the pictures are in your heart, and yeah, I mean, that's really cool. And so Robert is an assistant commissioner with the IHSAA. For my money, you should be the commissioner, but we'll save that for another show.
Thank you for that, but that time is past.
Yeah, no, and I know Paul does a good job with what he's doing. Here is my question, and we have great listenership on this little show. I mean, and obviously we're in Corby's, just a great place. But I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff in athletics going on. Everything filters down to high school. Talk to me about what the NIL will look like at the high school level.
Well, first of all, we gotta figure out what we're talking about when we talk about NIL. It certainly has different models and formats, and of course, the one that we're most interested in is that format that allows athletes to maintain their amateur status. And so that's part of the reason that Indiana hasn't jumped into the fray with respect to NIL. Certainly, we're not discouraging it. We've had conversations with several people about how to do it, but until we get something that's workable and allows our kids to be both productive and maintain their amateur status, we're not going to do anything. And that's not to say that we don't have kids that are taking advantage of their celebrity right now. We just last week were forwarded some information about a young lady down here in central Indiana that's getting paid to endorse a restaurant, and that's fine because she's not using anything that shows that where she plays basketball or any of her school colors. It is simply her and her celebrity, and she's taking advantage of that. That is the most rudimentary part of NIL, the one that's the least likely to be adjudicated and legislated and made rules for. But as we look at this, it runs the gamut of, like the college model, kids getting paid to play. That's certainly not something we want to have happen, but we certainly don't want kids to be punished for taking advantage of their celebrity. So we're sort of caught in the middle. You mentioned that everything trickles down to the high school level, but it also bubbles up from the play for pay section, the club teams, AAU, all those sorts of things. We're getting pushed from both sides. And I'll use this as an example. We have quite a few kids in Indiana who are on USA Baseball national teams. They have opportunities to make money on their celebrity playing for the USA Baseball team. As an example, some of those kids have baseball cards. Those cards are traded, they're worth money, and those kids get a percentage of those proceeds. So that's certainly, that's their name, image, and likeness. They certainly can take advantage of it. But as long as they don't use, let's say, for example, South Bend Adams has one of those kids on that team. As long as he's not using South Bend Adams to promote himself, we're fine with it because that kid does not own the properties associated with South Bend Adams or the IHSA. So that's where we have to be protective of our brand and our member schools.
So what do our neighboring states have in place? Because I mean, whether right or wrong, I had heard that Illinois is involved in NIL, that maybe Ohio is involved in NIL. Is that their same feeling also?
Absolutely, it is exactly the same feeling. The difference between Indiana and we're one of the 3 states that doesn't have any language with respect to NIL. And I think we're pretty smart on that because we're going to take it on a case-by-case basis until we can get something that says, and we can formulate something that says, this is the difference between NIL for profit and NIL just as an amateur athlete. And so I think we've done a good job. We've been very slow in moving, as Indianans want to do. We want to make sure we get it right before we jump out and do anything at all.
Well, I know, Robert, Michigan has just started NIL, and I believe there's a commercial up here on the South Bend TV stations where a donut shop, maybe in Niles, has picked 4 or 5 different kids from 4 or 5 different schools that are advertising donuts at this Niles donut shop. And I don't know, I can't remember if they have like team uniforms on or anything like that, or if they mentioned that there's so-and-so from Buchanan or so-and-so from Benton Harbor. Yeah. That's something you're saying that Indiana is trying to stay away from. Is that right? If they are mentioning your school?
Well, if you think about it, you remember, and heck, you remember this, when we were in high school, we had those posters that had the schedule on it. Every you got them. Well, at times we'd have sponsors for those schedules, and say, for instance, Louis Tuck Shop would sponsor the football team at LaSalle. We might go in our LaSalle uniforms, get on that poster. The money from that would go to LaSalle and not the individual students. That's something that's okay, because that money is going to LaSalle. LaSalle owns uniforms. We're not mentioned by name. So if they're doing that in Michigan, I would see that would be okay. That would not be an issue. But I think the drawing line is, do kids profit from their name, image, and likeness? That's fine. But if they can't use things that they don't own as part of that marketing plan.
All right. So Louis Tuck Shop poster. But at the end of the day, when springtime came and you held a draw, because I heard this, I heard you literally held a drawing to see which girl was going to be the luckiest girl that was going to win the ticket that you could take to prom.
Now you're lying.
But would you be able to go down to Louis Tux and get a free tux?
Probably. No, we got a discounted rate.
Oh, okay.
It was Louis was never free. You know this.
Yeah.
I would say that was one of my questions too. What if these kids that are advertising for Louis Tuck Shop, what happens if they say, hey, if you come advertise for such and such a tuck shop, you'll get a free tuxedo for prom? Where does that fit in? I guess as long as it's no school.
Absolutely, as long as it's not because they've done something. That other money went to the school. Whoop-de, that's okay. Again, we're blurring the lines of what's acceptable and what's not. And even if you put a monetary amount on what you can get in return, it really doesn't work. I remember years ago when our kids we'd have football, kids would go to these prospective camps and they get all this gear while they're there. They get, we would put a monetary amount on what they could come home with. And even then that was kind of suspect, because that monetary level or limit really didn't allow them for anything. So now, again, we had to readjust that based on those concerns. But that Louis Tuck Shop model, I really don't think that would be an issue. It's business on Louis Tuck Shop. And again, those kids are helping. They're helping their school, and then why not be the beneficiary of it? And it's not something for performance. They're not getting paid for performance. They're getting paid for name, image, and likeness.
So I think this would probably be everybody's nightmare scenario. And I'm just going to throw it at you. Player A, he can transfer now. I mean, he can transfer one time, but player A is a really good player. And there's a money guy at a school, and he says, hey, listen, man, I want you transferring to my school. I'm going to put you on this poster, and I'm going to give you and your family $20,000 to use your name, image, and likeness. Not a school thing, not a jersey thing, but I'm giving you $20,000, and I want you to come to this school. I think that's everybody's nightmare scenario. Could that happen?
That would be illegal, because that, by our rules, that is undue influence.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a game to become a student and an athlete at a member school. That would be against the rules.
Mm-hmm. Well, good, because a lot of people have that thought in their mind that's what they can do now. And,
no, they can't do that. And the thing about that, Heck, is that they're only like 20 of us in our office. We can't be at 412 member schools.
Sure.
You know how we find out about these things? Other people tell on other people.
Sure.
So if somebody gets something that they shouldn't get, you can guarantee a mom or a dad or a junior or sis is going to call our office and say, hey, guess what Junior did over here? And guess who paid him to do it? And that's how we start a lot of our investigations, or other people know our rules and they turn folks in.
When do you think the IHSAA will actually make some comment, or maybe they already have, about how, NIL is going to play in Indiana, and what are the certain rules? I mean, have you guys already, started putting brochures out and talking about that yet?
No, we've not made anything public. We've dealt with all of our NIL concerns individually. And there have been about 15 or 20 so far. And like I said, we take them on an individual case-by-case basis. We have a few parameters and we say, yay or nay, you can do this, you can't do that. But for the most part, we're not going to publicly do anything. We're going to stay within our rules, our published rules, and we go from there. And it specifically starts with the amateur status rule.
What about the shot clock, man?
Oh, please don't start with the shot clock.
I'm just no. Listen.
He took away my question.
I'm just axing about the shot clock, man.
Well, the coaches have proposed that we adopt the shot clock, and our board heard their proposal in February. We're going to do a little investigation. The coaches are going to come back again next year with a more firm proposal. Right now, the proposal was let's adopt the shot clock. Well, you can't just say adopt the shot clock. There's got to be some parameters in use of the shot clock. Whether you're going to use it in a blowout game or you use all levels, does it have to be at every game in every gym? And then we've got to talk about, is there a need for it? What's the data that supports the use of a shot clock? Will it drastically change the game? What we're finding from other states is that we've got mixed results on it, because in some states the boys use it and the girls don't. In some states you just have it at the varsity level. In other states you have it at all levels, varsity and sub-varsity. So again, the coaches have introduced the idea. They've got about 65% of the membership is in support of it. And we've just charged them to come back, give us some more data, let us know what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. But they have made the proposal. It's being considered. And then we'll move on based on what they tell us the next time they come back.
Commissioner, I have a question about this shot clock situation.
In terms of, I have a question about the shot clock in terms of, if they adopt this, how do they go about finding people that are going to be able to do this and do it the right way? Because I run the shot clock at Holy Cross, and I can tell you it's a challenge because you have to watch everything, and you're going to run into some places where you're going to have people that are going to be so invested in the game and not really focus on resetting the clock and doing all this. Are you concerned that this could extend games longer? Because there's other theories that are saying, well, we have to have the shot clock so the kids can get ready for college. But realistically, how many kids at the high school level are going on to play college basketball?
Yeah, and that is a concern, and we talk about that. That's another one of the things we charge the coaches with. As an example, you mentioned it perfectly. If we add the shot clock, that adds another official to the game, and that official is sitting at the bench doing the shot clock. Right now, we have a lot of schools that have trouble just getting bench officials, the scorekeeper, the game clock person. That is a difficulty for a lot of schools. And so if you add another person to that list of workers, there's going to be a lot of training. We're going to have to train our officials all over again how to recognize and then adjudicate the shot clock. And when we decide what to do with it, how it looks, 35 seconds, what do you do if you get a rebound on your first shot? Or is it going to reset to 35? We're going to reset to 24. All those sorts of things have to be answered, have to be given real clear and concise definitions before we say we can do a shot clock. Right now, the coach was just saying, we want to investigate using a shot clock. The rest of the story comes, what else comes with that, and how do we work on it?
And we haven't even gone into the cost of purchasing the clocks and installing them at these schools, because I'm hearing it's costing every bit of $10,000 just to do this.
For
one gym. For one gym,
yeah.
I mean, I'll just get some NIL money for myself, and I'll take a picture of myself, and I'll go. One thing I want. So one thing I want to run by you, Robert, is when you said you would have to train the officials. I mean, and this is from my heart. Your officials are so good. I never complained about an official. You train those officials so freaking good. It's amazing, man.
It's getting pretty deep here, Commissioner.
You are in the minority, Heck, and thank you for saying that, because every Saturday morning, every Monday morning, we have maybe 50 or 75 emails in our office about how bad the officials are. They need to be investigated. You guys do a horrible job of selecting people. Here's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of our officials, 95% of them, come to work our games after doing their real jobs. And that is something we're very blessed with. We're very happy that people want to be a part of what we're doing. But like you said, it takes a lot of work. Our officials work really, really hard to be prepared, learning the mechanics of being an official, knowing the rules. We ask a lot of them. They've got to go to 8-10 meetings every year. They got to go to a clinic every other year. They have to be prepared. They got to get 96 on the test of the rules. And so, it's not easy to be an official. So when they take the time and effort to do that. We make sure we support them, and we do our best. We certainly do our best.
So I know, the officials that I had trouble with during the course of my career, it must have been the 4 points that they missed on the test, man, because all I got to do is get 96. Hey, man, you didn't get the 4 points. Get over here.
I will not argue on that. What the heck? That's probably true.
Hey, Robert, this is Pat King. I was coaching at South Bend Adams for a long time after Hadaway came through. Let me ask you a baseball question, because I know that's kind of your expertise here. Maybe two things. You mentioned how things trickle up. Travel baseball with the younger kids, the junior high age kid, and all the endorsements they have, whether it's Rawlings or Spalding or whatever it is. What kind of issues are you having with baseball with kids, coming from travel ball to varsity, high school baseball? What are some of the issues that you deal with in that perspective?
Here's one you people probably don't realize is because of the advent of travel baseball, there are fewer opportunities for kids to play free baseball. I'll give you a stat. Indianapolis used to have 24 Little League baseball programs. Now there are 2.
Wow.
So look at that.
Mm-hmm.
There are fewer kids playing baseball. So when you go, those kids who used to have those little leagues in Marion County, Center Township, and Indianapolis, they don't have those opportunities anymore. So we have kids playing baseball. The first time they played organized baseball is in the 9th grade. If you can imagine what that looks like, that a kid who's in inner city Indianapolis goes out for a team at Tech. This is the first time they played baseball. They go out to Plainfield and play a game at Plainfield. The Plainfield kids have been playing since they were 4.
Right.
Imagine the level of play, that disparity. So we're losing schools and losing players because of that's my biggest concern about travel baseball is the number of opportunities for kids to play free baseball is going away. And as a result, there are fewer people playing in certain areas, and that makes us lose team. And it's not just in Indianapolis. We have some outskirts cities around the donut of Indianapolis and Evansville and Fort Wayne, South Bend that have the same issue. Kids don't get to play free baseball, and that way they don't continue playing baseball, and then the high school programs suffer. That's my biggest concern.
I totally agree. Now, let me ask you something else, and I don't know if there is such a thing as a good answer. With spring break, what's the chances of some of these baseball teams being able to get past that 300-mile radius that we have here, where let's say you've got a team that has a chance to go to Florida? I mean, I've got a son-in-law that coaches his baseball coach in Sarasota. They're talking about just like the colleges do. They take off in February and March and go play. What would prevent the high school kids from a team from packing up and heading for Sarasota during spring break and playing 4 or 5 different games someplace in the area and then coming back, compared to just like here in South Bend, they don't, a lot of times they don't get to play till, middle, late part of April. And then they try to squeeze in that 20-game schedule or 25-game schedule in about 4 to 5 weeks, which is, if you don't have pitchers, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. And to be honest, Coach, we have a lot of our schools. That 300 miles gets you all the way to Huntsville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long way to go. So we have a lot of our schools that will play Kentucky, Tennessee, in the northern parts of Alabama, and use that 300 miles to do that. You don't have to go all the way to Florida to get good weather. I mean, you get to Clarksville, Tennessee, you get to Nashville, Memphis, you're in good shape. We have a lot of schools that take advantage of that. To answer your question about Florida, Arizona, we're in the talks about, we've had those conversations. The only issue with that is that you present the scenario of the haves and the have-nots. Again, we're talking about making a disparity between those schools, and we're all about equity and making sure the teams have a fair shake at how they do things and what they can do.
Is that 300 miles from where the school is to the place where they're playing the game?
No, 300 miles starts at the Indiana border.
Okay.
So basically, if up here in South Bend, if we wanted to go south, our 300 miles starts at the bridge in Louisville. Is that right?
Absolutely. That's where the 300 miles starts.
Okay.
I did not know
Makes
that.
sense.
All right. So remind me sometime to tell you about my trip to DeMatha when I was coaching at Anderson.
My goodness.
And how that transpired, because that is a great story. But I know you have a meeting right now that you're fixing to run down in Evansville. and we'll talk about that on the air at a different time. Listen, Robert, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you took a couple of minutes right before you're running this meeting to come on and talk with us. And I mean, it is so fun catching up with you and talking South Bend back in the day and all that stuff, man.
Anytime you want to have me, I'll come, and just make sure, just give me a couple hours notice and I'll make it happen.
All
So
right,
you
great.
guys got anything else?
Just one last quick question before you go.
It's got to be quick. Come on,
It's going
man.
to be real quick. When you guys determine the regional sites for the basketball, how do you determine it, and what's the formula?
There really isn't a formula. Here's two things we have to consider. Is the site willing and able to host that level of the tournament? Everybody, a lot of people want to do it, but they may not have the gym capacity. They may not have the capacity for sports writers and broadcast. They may not do a good job of managing money and getting people in and out. There are a lot of things that go into that. So what we found is those schools that do it well, they continue to do it. And as new schools come on with better facilities, we give them a shot. But there really is no prescriptive formula. The biggest thing is, are you willing to host and are you able to host?
And determining who plays at the sites, how's that determined?
Well, that's all by matchups. That's all by who can go where, and it takes some effort. And we don't, we always make some people mad, but we have to look at the entire tournament. We have to look at the entire tournament and where we place people at those sites.
Fair enough.
And so it's not unusual for a team from South Bend and Fort Wayne to play at Newcastle because of whoever else the other schools in that level of the tournament and where they are. Okay. And you have to put in there, where are the sites? So it's a huge puzzle. It's something that takes us 4 or 5 hours at the conclusion of every level of the tournament to figure out. But I think we do a pretty good job. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people at times have some concerns and issues with how we do things, but that's why we have to do it. Somebody's got to make a decision, and unfortunately, it's us.
All right, thanks, Robert, man.
Thank you.
Cool. Be safe driving back to Indy.
Yep.
All right, thank you, boss. Thanks for having me.
That is the great Robert Falcons, man. He does a great job of obviously articulating what actually what NIL is, what the questions you answered or asked about the baseball, where it starts from the state line. So I didn't know it started from Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you would just go
From
the
your
closest
from your school to the
Yeah.
place. That's what I always thought.
Yeah, I mean, like the closest area to the state line, and then draw a line from there. Yeah, no, but hey, I think that's cool. And what did he? So we're going to have him on after spring break, and we're gonna go over the DeMatha story with him.
Does that count on airplane trips?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm going to throw that scenario.
It was only 2 hours, right?
Yeah, no, it was an hour and a half by flight.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half.
And they paid for the flight. Hey, listen, why don't you take us to commercial? We'll come back. We'll chat a little bit more about Robert, then we'll get into some hoops.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Hahn Funeral Homes in Mishawaka continues its tradition of families serving families. They provide burial, cremation, and pet cremation with compassionate personal care. Families have long trusted Hahn to guide them through life's hardest moments. Learn more by clicking the link in the show description.
Looking to get your driver's license? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy. Take the official Indiana State driving exam right there in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education required.
If you're 16 years and 270 days old, and you've held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, you're eligible. For more information, the link is in the video description.
The Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise. For more information and for information about all of our partners, see the links in the show description and make sure to tell them that Coach's Corner with Heck and King sent you.
Back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Thanks as always to the Black Sedan Band for the music coming in and out of these breaks. If you're interested in booking them, they do travel. Head on over to blacksedanband.com and give a special shout out to their drummer, who happens to be Heck's brother. And now, here's more Heck and King.
Yeah, the Black Sedan Band, man, out of Birmingham, Alabama. They are amazing. The drummer is amazing. Happens to be my older brother, Donnie. So Donnie,
you better say something nice about him.
So Donnie and Ronnie, the Donnie and Ronnie show, man. So, and I don't know. I mean, you had a lot of kids in your family, and I don't know if your mom and dad did this. When anybody got in trouble, and let's say I got in trouble, I mean, she'd go, Michael, Donald, Booty. Oh, Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie, get over here. They'd go through the whole list of the kids.
Had to figure out which one it was.
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, did you buy what Robert was saying about the NIL? I mean, did you follow that pretty good?
I thought I thought he talked to us. He didn't put on his commissioner hat and give us prepared answers. I thought he answered questions honest and sincerely.
Yeah, but I mean, what I got out of it is this: if the donut shop, if Jack's Donuts by St. Joe High School wants me as a player to talk about his donuts, and he wants to give me $10,000, and as long as I'm not wearing a St. Joe jersey or a St. Joe hat or anything that portrays the school, that's cool.
Yeah.
So here's my deal.
But then again, the thing is, well, people, why you? Why would they take Elijah King and have him advertise donuts unless he had a St. Joe jersey on? Because the normal person doesn't know who he is.
Well, no,
he's just a teenager.
Yeah, but I don't buy that. I think the normal person that goes to Jack's Donuts, that's right across the street from St. Joe, would know Elijah King's name. Yeah. Elijah King's name will be on the screen. Hey, I'm Elijah King, man. I'm a baller. Boom. They got him dunking, maybe. He doesn't have a St. Joe uniform on. Stop into Jack's Donuts. We got some great custard-filled donuts, man. You get custard all over your face, blah, blah, blah.
I got a little light bulb just went on. Southland Orthopedics has a commercial on television, and they have a couple high school kids in that commercial. One of them's a basketball player from Southland, Washington. And they've got him filmed in the gym. It says Washington High School.
So that's illegal.
If they paid him, that's no good.
That's illegal. And even if they didn't pay him, no. If they paid him, that's illegal.
Right.
And
now, if he was not in the school, if he was sitting on his front porch, then it'd be okay.
That'd be okay. Yeah.
Or if he was in some gym that wasn't South Bend Washington's gym or not Adams' gym, not a school gym, just a workout gym.
Or if he was sitting on the examination table at the South Bend Orthopedics.
Right. Yeah, and I don't.
As long as it has something that doesn't identify the school.
Yeah, but I don't understand. And he never said this. And if we'd had more time, I might have questioned him on this. Is there a set dollar amount?
Good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's still the gray area because it hadn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, it has not happened that we know of.
Right.
I mean, that we know of.
The one thing I didn't ask him because I didn't know if there was a good reason. You've got all these young kids that are playing AAU ball, and they're decked out in Adidas this or Nike this. They're playing for a team that's sponsored by Nike. They're sponsored by a team that's Adidas. And you're at school. Let's say you're in Indianapolis, and you know that school A is an Adidas school, school B is a Nike school. Would you go to that? Would that be a decision maker on what school you would go to because of the endorsement you had in 8th grade AAU ball? Would you say just like they do in college? Well, Romeo Langford goes to Louisville from New Albany because he played for an AAU team during the summer that was an Adidas school. He went to Louisville. Because it was an Adidas school.
Well, yeah, but when I went to Anderson, Coach Knight hooked me up with the Adidas people because IU forever was Adidas.
Sure.
And Coach Knight hooked me up with his contact for the first 5 years that I was at Anderson, we were Adidas.
We were up here at South Bend because we were running through Notre Dame.
Yeah, and my players got free shoes. My players got free sweats. My players got free long sleeve T-shirts. My players got everything free. Then Reebok came to me, and Reebok said, "Hey, heck, what's Adidas giving you?" I told him. So Reebok doubled it, and I said, "Cool, let's go to Reebok, man."
Right.
So now we go to Reebok for 5 years. Now, obviously, after 5 years, Reebok's not doing so well. So he comes in, he says, "Heck, we got to cut this deal." I said, "Cool, man." You guys been great.
One year you were wearing New Balance and the kids hated them.
No, I'm getting to that. After Reebok, the New Balance guy comes into my office at the Wigwam and says, "Heck," he says, "I'll give you this, and this. All you got to do is hang a New Balance sign up in the Wigwam." You know what I said? Done.
No,
done.
Because you didn't have to wear those shoes.
No. And my players came to me and they said, "Coach, why can't we wear Nikes? Why can't we do this?" I said, "Son, come here." I said, "This stuff you're getting is free." I said, "See the N on the side of the shoe? It stands for Nike. Now shut the hell up and get out of my office. And if you don't want to wear what I give you to wear, you ain't playing."
That's funny.
But and then at the end of the day, they wanted to play, so they were sporting New Balance shorts, New Balance T-shirts, New Balance sweats.
Right.
But
that's funny.
That's the whole thing. And it all happened. It all transpired because of the Wigwam. Now, I know Roger Harden took care of you guys at the Wigwam back in your day with Converse. And I know Norm had a deal with Converse.
Okay.
And Roger, it wasn't Roger Harden, it was Al Harden. And Roger was Al's son who ended up playing at Valpo. And then when Al got older, then Roger took it over. But when I first got to Anderson, there was a hidden closet there, and there were 20 pairs of 1970s Converse that had yellowed.
I can imagine.
Oh, wow.
That had yellowed, and
we were,
and it was all because of the Wigwam.
We wore Chuck Taylors in the early 70s before Held was there, something because that was all there was.
Yeah, I mean Larry Bird, Chuck Taylor's, the whole thing.
And I think Madison Heights started wearing the early Adidas.
But why did that happen? Because Phil Buck had a great run of his players going to IU.
Yeah, I think that's
And whatever IU was going to wear, then Phil Buck and Madison Heights.
Bobby Wilkerson and that crew in the 72 team.
Ray Tolbert, Bobby Wilkerson, Winston Morgan.
They were wearing Adidas.
Stu Robinson. They were all wearing Adidas.
Sure they were.
So what's different today when a kid goes and he plays in a Nike tournament, and because he's on the Indiana elite team, his coach gives him 2 pair of Nikes and a Nike sweatshirt and a Nike travel sweat and a Nike quarter zip, and he's on that team. Can he accept that? Can he wear it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, okay, does that happen where a Nike school, the kid is sponsored by Nike, and he's saying, "Hey, Cathedral's a Nike school.
I can't wear this. Yeah.
I'm going to Cathedral."
How about the kids are on the Indiana All-Stars, and who sponsors them? What happens if Champion comes in with uniforms that are Champion and they're not Nike or they're not Under Armour or something like that?
Well, I mean, the Indiana All-Stars. In the beginning, they had great money from the Indy Star. Sponsored them really well. And then when I left Anderson and went to Indianapolis, the guy that I was hooked up with, one of my ex-players, Robbie New sponsored the Indiana All-Stars, and actually, in all retrospect, saved the Indiana All-Star game.
Interesting.
By the money that he just wrote a check to Charlie Hall and said, "Charlie, here, how much do you need to run the Indiana All-Star program?" And Charlie said, "I need this." Robbie wrote a check and saved the Indiana All-Star games, both Robbie and Charlie Hall, for about a 5 to 10 year deal. But Pat Aikman with the Indiana Star, Don Marsh with Marsh Grocery Stores.
Those are the people I remember.
Those, I mean, those were big sponsors. My daughter's married to Brad Marsh, whose grandfather was Don Marsh.
Right.
And when I first saw Don, through the family deal, it's one thing I mentioned. Hey, Indiana All-Star, man. And then what he mentioned to me was IU, because Marsh Grocery Store then sponsored IU. Yeah. So it has always been a game. It has always been a game. But and you and I have talked about this. You make fun of me, and that's okay. I'm a punching bag. You can make fun of me.
That's okay.
You can call me a hippie because I got long hair. You can make fun of me.
Well, those guys last night were working you over, weren't they? Your Manchester buddies from 50 years ago.
And you know what I wanted to tell them? It ain't that long. I just got good hairspray and I got good coverage. I got good coverage.
And you had a hat on.
And I had a hat on. But at the end of the day, people are getting what they're getting, and you always make fun of me because I bring up Pete Bell. I mean, from Blue Chips.
I know. Yeah.
That stuff was going on how many years ago?
It's been going on forever.
I mean, can you remember when Steve Alford got suspended at IU by the NCAA because he let a sorority house put his picture on a schedule and a calendar?
On a calendar, yeah.
And I mean, Steve Alford got suspended a couple games. And Coach Nye was, Steve, blah, blah, blah. You should have checked with us and all that stuff. Steve said, and I mean, like Steve was like, hey, I let a couple of girls use my picture.
Yeah. And think about when we had Jimmy King on a couple of weeks ago, mentioning, everybody, all they remember about, the Fab Five and everything that happened, with all the illegal things that supposedly happened. And he's sitting there telling stories when he was a freshman and sophomores, the coaches could not pick them up and take them to practice.
That's an NCAA violation.
It is a violation.
Yeah.
They had the coaches just waved and said, "See you at the gym."
Okay. How many people listen to this show? Like probably 10.
There's 10.
Bugsy. Yeah, nobody else listens to this show.
Here and he's not even listening.
Yeah, but look, I coached at Ball State.
Yes.
I coached at Ball State for 4 years. NCAA, right?
Yep.
We come home from a road trip from Akron at 3 a.m. It's 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
We got kids that live off campus. They got to walk to their apartment, right?
Yes.
I'm in a meeting. NCAA investigators. Ron, did you give this kid a ride home? I shut the recorder off. I said, let me ask you this question. It's 3 a.m. It's 10 degrees. Kid lives a mile from campus. You're not going to put him in your car and drive him to his home? What are you, a sadist? Are you crazy?
Right.
And the recorder's off, so you can tell me what you would do.
Yeah.
And obviously they ain't gonna say nothing,
Right.
But of all the rules, he was exactly right. You cannot do that.
Yeah. I know.
But go ahead and ask me.
You took him home, didn't you?
Hell yes, I took him home.
Yes.
And I took him and everybody else home too at 3 a.m.
That's called picking a booger if you're going after them. If you're going after school.
That's called what?
Picking a booger.
What the hell is the matter with you, Kenny?
That's the truth. That's what it's called.
This show is for kids. You can't talk about picking boogers.
Jeez. I can't. Scott's not on here right now, but I can't think of how many times we had ball players sleeping on the couch at our house because they didn't have any place to sleep that night. I learned real quick coming to South Bend when the kids said, "Where do you stay?" I said, "Well, I stay in my house," that.
Yeah.
And you mean where do I live? They go, "No, where you stay," because they had a backpack on, and that's where their clothes were. And
100%.
And when they were getting out of the shower at the gym, there was a lot of them that had no idea where they were going that night.
100%.
And there were a lot of times it's like I'd ask them, Where you going? Were you going home? No, I can't. Nobody's there. Okay. Get in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, truth be told, even on the high school level, you couldn't go pick up a kid. You can't go pick up a kid in your car and take him and bring him to school. As the coach, I got in trouble. Yeah. I got in trouble at Anderson for doing that.
I went and got kids.
I had a kid, and coach, I ain't got a way to school. All right, I'll be by about 7:45. I'm a honk one time, then I'm bouncing if you ain't out.
Well, I told you.
I got called into the office.
I told you I had one kid. He was late to practice, and I said, "Hey, you got to get to practice on time." Next weekend he was at practice on time. 2 weeks later, the police were out in the parking lot wanting to know where he was. Who's been driving this orange Cadillac out here? He stole a car. So we get to practice on time.
So let me ask you this question. So did they name you an accessory?
No, I had nothing
you didn't have to
do
go
with
to. You didn't have to go to the clink.
All I know is
That's going to Judge Judy.
all I know is Carlos Diggins comes walking back in the gym, going, "Coach, come here. I got to talk to you." And he explained to me. Walked outside there in the parking lot. There's like 3 squad cars with the lights going on. Pulled him off the bus. The JV was going over to a ball game over in Elkhart. And needless to say that he was -1 ball player that night.
Son, you can't do that. So I know we want to get into hoops, but I got to run this by you, man. The NFL now, the NFL's new league starts March 11th. And so on March 11th, you can sign free agents on March 11th.
Next week.
Yeah, on March 11th, it's actually the new year that starts. So teams are cutting players now because of what we call what?
Salary cap.
The salary cap. Who's sitting by watching all of this stuff happen? The baseball players, because the baseball players, when their contract is up after next season, the owners want to put a salary cap in.
Yep, and there will be no 2027.
But here's the deal. DJ Moore, the Bears get him in a trade, blah, blah, blah. He's a great receiver. They sign him to a big $26 million contract. But now they're up against the salary cap of going over it. So they got to trade DJ Moore. Now, they're not trading DJ Moore because they don't like him. They're not trading him because he wasn't a good player. They're trading him because the salary cap says we need this money because you can't go over the salary cap.
Right. And where I read where the Kansas City Chiefs restructured 3 or 4 guys, veterans contracts today to keep them under the salary cap.
Yeah. And so what does that mean? That means that they put some of the money. They didn't take money away from the players. They put some of the money for maybe 5 years down the road.
On the back end of it.
Yeah. Right. So now, okay, the salary cap this year's okay, but what's the salary cap going to be like in 3 years? Now you got to start cutting people. There are so many teams that are cutting good players because of the salary cap. And I get it. I'm not saying the salary cap is bad. Because, if you didn't have a salary cap, then you would have what the Los Angeles Dodgers do.
Right.
I mean, their salary's over $400 million, and there's a tax if you go over so much. Your tax to figure, but they don't care. Their pockets are so deep. Should there be a salary cap in baseball?
Yes.
I don't know that much about it.
Forget baseball. Okay, should there be a salary cap in any team in sports?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your parity.
Yeah, and the salary cap should also reflect this. It should reflect the teams. They should have a minimum salary. Like you can't have a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates who their salary is $80 million. When you got Shohei Ohtani that makes more than the whole team of the Pittsburgh Pirates, there's got to be a minimum, and let's say the minimum might be $150 million, and going up to $250. Well, now teams like the Pirates, they got to pay players,
right?
Right.
I agree.
So I'm not saying that it's not good. I think it's good.
I think if they need to go to a salary cap in baseball for this reason. They've got to have the fans in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, some of these small market teams know that when they go out on opening day, that they have a chance to compete for a championship.
Well, opening day doesn't matter. Okay, you're the same guy to use the word booger on the show here. Opening day.
Yes.
Opening day doesn't matter. It's guys like Paul Skeens. It's guys that are great players that they have to trade because they know that they're going to come up and their arbitration years are going to be over and they're going to have to sign them to a contract. So now they can't keep guys like Paul Skeens because they can't afford them.
But you've got to give those fans in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati some hope that when the season starts, that with the salary cap, you at least the field is balanced out a little bit.
Well, I mean, do you think that's really true? I mean, do you think on opening day that it's not going to be a sellout at Pittsburgh?
Oh, it'll be a sellout.
It'll be a sellout.
Sellout Pittsburgh, sellout Cincinnati, but by the third week, there'll be 8,000 people there.
And I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. But the salary cap also is about those bottom feeders that won't pay. I mean, the Oakland A's. Billy Ball, right?
It's like basically you got to have a minimum speed on the interstate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a minimum, and you can't be the Oakland A's, and you can't play Billy Ball all the time.
Right.
You have to hit that threshold, but then at the top of it, you can't go over the top.
Right. Fair enough.
Here's the question, though, that I've always wondered. How has the NFL been the one professional sports league that really has had little to no labor issues in terms of salary cap, in terms of all that stuff?
Oh, no. They've had labor issues. Don't you remember when they had a strike, I don't know, 20 years ago?
It was in the 90s.
30 years ago.
30 years. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing major.
But I don't agree with the NFL stuff because – the NFL guys, now they only play 6 or 17 games,
right?
Unless you're in the playoffs. Okay, so it's once a week.
Right.
But, the NFL contracts aren't guaranteed. You can say Pat King is a quarterback. He signed a $100 million contract for 4 years, $25 million a year. But only 2 of those years are guaranteed.
Well, yeah, the Chiefs got rid of their number 2 quarterback today. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, he's number 2 for a reason. He stinks. But anyway, but
he's gone. He's no longer there.
Yeah, but so those you're taking hits. You're getting killed, but everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, but Pat King's making $25 million a year." After year 2, they can cut you, and that contract isn't guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So NFL people would gripe and bitch about non-guaranteed contracts.
Get it now because it may not be it's not guaranteed.
And that's why they front load them sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let me ask you a baseball question.
Fire.
The world games are getting ready to start,
World
right?
Baseball Classic,
World Baseball Classic. Are those American players getting paid to play in that?
I don't know. I don't think they are.
The reason I ask,
I don't know.
The Ryder Cup in golf last year, that was one of the big things. The Europeans were playing for free. The Americans, they were getting paid.
No, I don't. We have our famous fact checker. Kenny, what's your middle name, Kenny?
Ray.
Fact checker.
What?
Ray.
Kenny Ray Peterson. That sounds like a country guy. Kenny Ray Peterson.
For a stock car racer.
Yeah, KRP.
Yeah, WKRP.
You got it.
But anyway, I don't think they're getting paid. But here's a bigger question. MLB, who is paying those players, right? Who is paying them?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing for 3 weeks under the opportunity or chance to be injured.
Yeah,
To have sustain an injury, a sliding injury, you break an ankle, now you're out 2 months.
Do they have pitching limitations on the pitchers?
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. But then every player will say, and you'll hear him say this, a chance to play and represent my country.
Sure.
But I don't. And if I'm a Major League Baseball team owner, there's a little 50-50 with me on that,
right?
Because I'm paying you to play. You're playing in the World Baseball Classic, and you might get hurt. What do you got, Kenny Ray Peterson?
I got it. MLB players of the 2026 World Baseball Classic do not receive a direct salary from the tournament, but their existing guaranteed MLB contracts are protected by comprehensive insurance policies. If insured players are injured, the policy covers up to 100% of their salary. 2 years for position players, 4 for pitchers.
Okay. That'd be like in basketball, the Olympics.
Yeah, no, yeah, but it doesn't take place during the season.
Right. That's a good point.
It takes place out of
This
season.
is all during spring training, isn't it?
The Olympics with hockey. I mean, they take 3 weeks off during the season.
Right.
Go play the Olympics, and then they come back. You tear a knee up in the Olympics.
The women did the same thing for
Yeah.
WNBA.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's a really good question. Why don't you take us to a break? As God is my witness, we are coming back and talking basketball
We've
after this
we've
break.
got an hour to talk basketball. We'll be back.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Looking to get your driver's license? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy. Take the official Indiana State driving exam right there in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education required.
If you're 16 years and 270 days old, and you've held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, you're eligible. For more information, the link is in the video description.
On Funeral Homes in Mishawaka continues its tradition of families serving families. They provide burial, cremation, and pet cremation with compassionate personal care. Families have long trusted Han to guide them through life's hardest moments. Learn more by clicking the link in the show description.
The Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise.
For more information and for information about all of our partners, see the links in the show description and make sure to tell them that Coach's Corner with Heck and King sent you.
Back again with more Coach's Corner. Shout out, as always, to the Black Sedan Band. Now in their, well, they've been with us since the start. We'll just say that. They do travel, so if you're interested in booking a great cover band, go to blacksedanband.com, or you can check them out on YouTube after you're done watching us, of course. Now here's more Heck and King.
Our sponsors are great, and they're the reason we can actually have this show. So thank you very much to our sponsors, our music coming in and out of breaks. The Black Sedan Band, they're amazing. They're great. And I mean, what a great show we have tonight with the great Pat King and the great Kenny Ray Peterson, a stock car driver to my right, to Pat's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pat's going to jump on some college basketball and kind of get us going with that for about 20 minutes here.
That's true. Hey, I've got a topic that I want to present to everybody. We're not going to come up with an answer tonight, but I want you people at home to think about this. Last year, all number one seeds in the college tournament got to the finals. And I really think that NIL is going to polarize things even more. We're going to be more chalk than ever every year here until something changes. You've got, I really predict your top four, those top 16 teams. I would bet, I'm going to say at least 12 of them will be Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I would bet 12 out of the 16 get to the Sweet 16. And I could go further than that.
So you don't believe in the upsets in the NCAA tournament?
And there were fewer upsets last year than we've had in a long time.
Year, it just might have been an aberration last year.
I'm going to tell you it wasn't. I'm going to tell you it's a trend that's going to continue. So there's my argument with you on that.
Okay, I'm going to write this down. You're saying that 16,
12 out of the 16, the 1, 2, 3s, and 4s will advance to the Sweet 16.
Right,
we won't know that for 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yep.
Okay. So you've got that written down.
I got that written down, man.
Good. All right. Here's
one more thing before you take off. My wife just sent me something. We were talking about WKRP, right?
Yes.
As God is my judge, I thought turkeys could fly.
I got the shirt. I need to wear it one
As
week.
God is my judge, I thought turkeys could fly.
Turkeys dropping from the helicopter. I'll have to wear it next week.
That is one of my favorite videos, isn't it? Thanksgiving.
This show has now sunk to the depths of WKRP.
I post
on
my Facebook. I post two things every year. One is the KRP episode at Thanksgiving. I said you have to see this just because And the other one is at Christmas time when they double dog dare the kid to stick his tongue on the light pole.
Yes,
and
Peter Billingsley.
He does.
Those are the two things that I post every year just because I can.
Monica, thank you for texting us and listening to the show, obviously.
Here's my proposal.
God is my judge. I thought turkeys could fly. Go ahead.
Only humanity.
Stop. Okay, so you've got the NCAA tournament, and everybody. We're going to talk about Miami of Ohio. Should they be in? Should they not? And all that stuff. And everybody has their opinion whether they're undefeated or not. Here's what I want you guys to think about. Last year, year before, the NIT becomes less and less of a factor or even an event every year. Here's what I want you to think about. Why can't you have a second tournament and use that group of 5 conferences that we talk about in football that always end up as the 10, 11, 12 seeds in football? Let them use the NIT as a second tournament. Now, what you're doing is basically going to class basketball. We've got, and if you think about it, in Indianapolis right now, they have, I think this year they're going to have at all 4? They're going to have Division I, Division II, Division III, all in Indianapolis that same weekend. They're going to use the Coliseum. They're going to use Bainbridge or Gamebridge as locations for all those tournaments. I think last couple of years they've been at Fort Wayne Coliseum for D3 maybe? It's going to Hinkle or not, either Hinkle or the Coliseum this year. All right, group of 5 teams, just for clarification. What conferences are those? 1, the American Conference. That's South Florida, Wichita State, Tulsa, UAB. Conference USA, Liberty, Sam Houston, Western Kentucky. The third one's the MAC. You've got Miami, Akron, Kent State, Toledo, Ball State. The Mountain West, Utah State, New Mexico, San Diego State, Grand Canyon, UNLV are some of them in the Mountain West. The Sun Belt, Troy, Texas State, Marshall, South Alabama. Take those teams that do not make the big tournament and let them have the NIT and seed them, do whatever you want to do with them. And because the Crown tournament, I'm throwing the third tournament in here, that Crown tournament that's become out in Vegas is now taking teams from the NIT. People are saying, no, I don't want to go to the NIT because I can go to the Crown tournament and possibly make $1 million. Sure. It's an NIL grab bag for really the Power Fives that aren't good enough. It's 500 teams. I mean, it's the 500 level teams. It's the IUs that are going to end up 9 and 11 that don't make the tournament. They're going to be in the Crown. So I don't need you to say yes or no, but we're going to eventually.
I will say yes or no.
You can. That's fine. That's fine. I don't expect you to agree with me. You're going to have the NCAA
I don't always
tournament.
disagree with you.
You agreed with me once.
Okay.
We went to the ball game together last night, and we decided to sit underneath the basket.
Good call right there.
Okay, so there's 2.
Yeah, 2.
All right, so you got the NCAA as is. Let's say Miami doesn't make it. They are then the number 1 seed in this group of 5, what we'll call the NIT tournament that finishes at Hinkle, like on Thursday or Friday night before the NCAA. And then all the other teams, those Power 5 teams that don't make the NCAA, like Auburn, like IU, I'm going to predict they are in the Crown tournament in first week of April.
Okay, but let me be the devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Why would they? Well, why would they go to the NIT as opposed to not going to the Crown? They're going to the Crown for one reason: Vegas, cash.
Exactly.
So it seems to me that if the NIT wants to take the group of 5 conferences, they're going to have to start ponying up some cash for those teams too. Because at the end of the day, teams that go to the tournament, they end up losing money.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about hotel stays, travel, hey, we're going to give your kid a sweatsuit. Great, give him a $100 sweatsuit, but are you going to feed him for 3 days? Are you going to pay for the flights? Are you going to pay for the hotels?
Yeah, is the tournament going to pay that, or is the school pony up that?
And here's the thing with the NIT. I think if you're a group of 5 team, you should be priority on the hosting, because if you're in a Power 4 conference and you don't make the NCAA tournament, you should have to go to some of these places in these group of 5s, because why should you be rewarded for being the NIT to host when you have to go to places like
anywhere
Troy, Valparaiso,
right,
places like that. you should have to go there.
Well, they might,
because I know several years ago when Valpo was in the NIT, Florida State went to Valpo. The only time that Florida State will ever go to Valpo in our lifetime.
Now this year they'll go to the Crown.
Yeah, they ain't going to. And okay, they made that mistake one time. They ain't going back to Valpo. Trust me.
And you won't see IU going to Wright State or any place like that.
No, and it has now become. I mean, I think this looks great on paper to say Group of 5. You know, okay, this is your tournament, the NIT. Well, in order for that to happen, the NIT is going to have to get some sponsorship and pay some money.
Oh, sure. And again, what this is the same thing that Robert Falcons was talking about with the coaches saying we want a shot clock. See, I've thrown an idea out. Now somebody, if indeed somebody wants to, you've got to go do some research. You got to do exactly what you're thinking.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Can you give your email address, your phone number, and your regular address? So anybody that wants to support your idea here, they can call you. They can call you.
Don't even try to blow this out of the water because I think it's a great idea. It's great. In 2 years when this happens, I'm gonna run this video back and say, see, told you so, sucker.
No, I'm not saying I don't think it's a bad idea, but I think it's like everything else, and I hate it.
It's going to take money.
I hate what everything is dependent on in our society, or everything, whether it's athletics, whether it's anything, money, cash.
All right, well, let's talk about the college basketball. We've got the last weekend coming up. You got games tonight. Matter of fact, there's a couple of games on TV tonight. Let's talk about the ACC. We've got a local team here. What's it up the street here?
USB?
Notre Dame.
Bethel.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame beat Bethel?
Could they?
Yeah.
On a good day.
Okay, good.
On a good day.
I think this is amazing because I heard this. I heard that Carson Tout is thinking of trying to play in the NFL to be a tight end.
I've heard that.
After his college eligibility is over.
Why not?
Phenomenal. He's got great ups. He's got a great body.
Sure.
Great.
Why not?
All right.
I
digress. Go ahead.
Bottom line, we can talk about Duke all we want. They've got a 2-game lead on UVA. Notre Dame has 1 game left. All right. Notre Dame plays at Boston College Saturday. They have to win, and they have to hope Pittsburgh loses at Syracuse.
Oh, good luck.
That's where they are. They're both tied right now. They are both 4-13. And they're tied for the 15th and last spot in the ACC tournament.
And Pitt has the tiebreaker.
So they have to have one more win than Pitt does to get in. And I believe they have double buys for the first 4, then they have buys for the second. So I believe if Notre Dame can get in, they would play the 9 seed or the 10 seed. Whoever that is. So realistically, that gives them a chance. They could win one. They could win one, and then they would get stuck having to probably play the 4 seed, whoever that might be. And it could be Virginia, it could be Miami, it could be North Carolina in round 2.
In case you're going to bet this, let me give you some numbers. Syracuse is 6-11.
Yes,
they're 6-11 in the league. They're 15-15 overall. So Pitt is 4-12, 11-18. They got to play at Syracuse.
Right?
Can Syracuse beat them? I mean, I don't know if Syracuse can, but then here is Notre Dame's scenario. Notre Dame is 4-12. They're going to play on the road at Boston College, who is 3-14. Now, that's a toss-up to me, but the fact that it's at Boston College is a different deal.
And senior day.
Yeah.
But there's really the big game in the ACC Saturday is obviously it's the 6:30 game. You've got round 2. North Carolina's at Duke.
Why is that a big game? Because it doesn't affect. I mean, it's a big game because of history.
Well, yes, and it could if Carolina has 5 losses, Clemson has 6. So, and I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but if Carolina would lose, then that bumps them back even with Clemson. Who's the 4 seed? Who's the 5 seed going into the tournament? But I guess it doesn't make a difference because doesn't 4 and 5 usually play each other?
Doesn't matter. You're 100% right. What about the Big Ten? Purdue and IU. I mean, Purdue goes on the road and wins.
Yes.
I mean, 70-66. How about now? And we talked about this last week. Northwestern is a benchmark in the Big Ten now.
Here we go.
It's tough to play.
Newsflash.
That car needs its carburetor changed.
That's
But go
not-
ahead.
Fricks, road team of the week.
Great segue.
How'd we do, Scott?
That was
Last, I'm getting better at this.
But
Last,
look, you got to say Fricks, not Ricks.
Fricks.
Okay.
He was an old coach at Riley High School back in the 50s and 60s. Started as a driving school. Anyway,
Rick Frick was an old
not
coach.
Rick, Coach Frick.
Oh no, but I thought you said Rick Frick.
No, that's his cousin.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Shut the hell up, Eck. Say it one time.
Purdue last night, believe it or not, as bad as they've been playing, they're going to be my road team because I had them losing. When we walked out of Mishawaka last night to go home and watch that ball game, I told all those guys that were acting like they were listening to me, Purdue's going to get beat. They cannot beat Northwestern at Northwestern on senior night. And I was about 2 minutes away from being right. So good for Purdue. I thought that was a great road win. Like you said, how all of a sudden is Northwestern with what, 4 or 5 wins? Irrelevant in who decides that. So Purdue right now is fifth in the Big Ten. Your game tonight, believe it or not, is going to be a doozy. Michigan at Iowa. Iowa's 10-8, but just like it, winning on the road is hard in the Big Ten.
It's hard anywhere.
Yeah, doesn't matter whether it's MAC.
No, you can't
high
go to New
school.
Prairie and win. It's hard to win
It's
at
hard
New
to win
Prairie.
there, yes.
You know why? Because New Prairie hires the principal's brother, the AD's uncle, and the head coach's twin.
And my third cousin runs the clock.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a good
100%.
point. Now, IU had a good home win last night. IU beat a bad Minnesota team, but they did what they had to do. That was a 30-point ball game. The one that surprised me this week was Tuesday night out in Los Angeles. Nebraska got beat up. They've been playing really well, but UCLA took care of them by 20.
That's a weird team.
UCLA's a Jekyll and Hyde. They're 12-7. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see it when they go to United Center next week for the tournament to see how they play, because the experts have them as a probably in, but that means they're probably going to be an 8 or a 9 seed depending on how they do.
UCLA loses in Chicago. It's going to be the travel's fault.
Oh yeah. Cronin will have something to explain. Big game tonight, Michigan at Iowa. When we finish, that's what we'll go home and watch. Saturday, Wisconsin at Purdue, senior day for all the Purdue boys. IU's on the road over to Ohio State. Sunday, your fun games will be Illinois. I like Illinois. I still think
they could
Illinois. I think tournament time. There was somebody I would not want to play them in the tournament. But the big game and the fun game will be Michigan State at Michigan. We talked to Jimmy King a couple of weeks ago. He said he's going. That's just one of those must sees. We're here in Indiana, so we don't know that much. The stuff. That's your IU Purdue game,
right
up there. Right. And as he said, the people at Michigan call Michigan State our little brother, which I'm sure does not go over well in East Lansing.
No.
And then another good game on Saturday is going to be Iowa at Nebraska, and then you've got double buys, triple buys, all kinds of stuff.
How about Indiana and Ohio State?
I think IU will have trouble winning that game.
I mean, IU's 9-10. If they go 9-11,
are they 9-11? Are they out? I think they.
No, I mean, then they're going to have to win a game or two in the Big Ten tournament.
I think they've got to win twice, and what that'll do, that will bump them out of the buys. They may have to play on the Tuesday games. It may be an IU versus the 15 or the 16 seed team. Yeah. But that just means they've got to play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They may have to play 5 games.
How about the IU player? Who's their best player? Who's their best player?
Wilkerson.
After the game that they got beat, Wilkerson mom goes out to the parking garage, and Lamar Wilkerson bought his mom an Escalade, had a bow put on the top of the car, and his mom went out to where her old car was. There's that Escalade, and there's that gift for mom, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, wow.
That's good stuff.
High school hoops.
Well, real quick, I want to touch on the Miami thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Because you coached in the MAC, and and you're probably more than anybody know about the MAC. This whole thing with Bruce Pearl ripping Miami and saying, that they may not be a tournament-worthy team, it's kind of offensive because when you think about it, Miami won 25 games last year, okay? And I guess according to the AD, they tried calling up all these people to want to play, see if they would want to play Miami. They're saying, well, we don't want to play you because you're too good. You're too good now because you're now 29-0, 30-0. You coached in the MAC at Ball State. You guys were really, really good. How tough was it for you guys when you were at Ball State to get anybody good to play you?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, for us, it wasn't really that tough because we could go on the road and get a payday. But we didn't really. I mean, we would play maybe a couple of tough games, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Kenny Ray Peterson, because you could. I mean, Miami does not have any quad 1 wins. They do not have any quadrant 1 wins, which means they have not played anybody in the top 15, top 10, something like that. But
quadrant 2 would be 15 to 30, which I think they don't have any of them either.
But here's the deal. If they had quad 1 wins, if they had quad 2 wins, it doesn't matter. The formula for 150 years is if you want to get into the NCAA tournament from the MAC, you got to win the MAC tournament.
You got to win the tournament.
You could see a scenario where they could be like Notre Dame football, 31-1 in the season, and then get bumped out.
100%, because Akron has lost 1 game. Akron is 29-1.
Yeah,
29-1, and their only loss was a 2-point loss to Miami.
Right.
So it's either one of those teams.
Yeah, and
it's probably going to go.
Kent State's 13-4 in the conference.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So, I mean, I was in the MAC. I cried the blues. I sat there. One year we were 23-2. We got beaten in the MAC tournament 24-2. We didn't get in. So we went to play in the NIT, and we played at Utah. And we played Utah at Utah in the NIT, which was kind of a cool game because Rick Majerus had been at Ball State. He was the head coach of Utah. Another year, we got in the NIT. We played Cincinnati and the great Bob Huggins at Cincinnati.
Right.
Cincinnati had the kid from LaSalle who was a great player. It might have been Alan Jackson.
Okay.
That played at LaSalle. He was a starting guard for Cincinnati.
Before my time. I was still in Texas.
So I was at Ball State 4 years. We went to the NCAA tournament twice, and we went to the NIT twice. So you would call that successful.
Oh, yes.
The second year we went to the NCAA, we were probably the 3rd seed. We won the MAC tourney. We probably weren't supposed to win it. We won the MAC tourney. We had to go play a number 2 seed, Kansas.
And the 2 teams that were ahead of you
didn't go.
Were out. They were NIT.
Bye.
The team that's going to be the disappointment, St. Louis in the A-10, they're 15-2, but I think they're in the same situation that Miami's in.
100%.
I think if they don't win,
but the A-10's a little different than the MAC.
If VCU wins the A-10, they're in, and I think St. Louis is going NIT.
But and I hate to say this, but I just think the A-10 has better juice than the MAC.
Okay.
So and we'll see. Who knows?
High school
hoops, man. Mishawaka was cranking on Tuesday night.
We got to talk about the locals here.
Adams.
The Mishawaka sectional is the second, I'll say easily the 3rd best sectional in 4A right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question. You got Mishawaka, Adams. Mishawaka played really good. I don't know what Chad Johnson was doing coaching that Adams game. Adams wins 57-55.
You were there, right?
I was there, and Mishawaka at the end of 3, Mishawaka was leading by 9. Oh, let's press Mishawaka in the 4th quarter, and then they outscore Mishawaka like 22-10 in the 4th quarter and win by 2. But here's my question. Why ain't you pressing Mishawaka from the jump?
I wasn't there.
No, you don't have to be there, but answer that question. Why ain't you pressing Mishawaka? Okay, Mishawaka's last game of the season, they play St. Joe. And now St. Joe presses like no other team that we've seen.
Right.
But Mishawaka coughs it up 36 times.
Right.
36 turnovers. After watching that game, that film, why don't you say, hey, boys, we're the War Eagles. We're Auburn.
Maybe Chad didn't think that he would get people in foul trouble. He wanted to make sure they got to the 4th quarter. But
I don't know, but he still lost the game.
You and I have been around long enough. Tuesday night ball games are hard for kids for some reason to play like they do on Friday and Saturday nights.
Right.
You've got to do something, and you press them from the jump. To me, I think it's something that needs to be done
from the jump.
Yeah, I'm trapping the jump ball.
I'm face guarding people at the jump ball. I'm not even worried about the tip.
During lineups.
You ain't getting it.
During lineups.
I think so. So can they do this? Because I'm trying to think back. I think I got a foul called on me before the game started. I was holding somebody at the jump ball.
You might have held the guy stepped on his foot or something.
And the ref blows the whistle.
There's still 8 minutes on the clock.
I said, you can't call a foul. The game ain't started yet. He said, I can do what I want.
That's funny. That's funny. Well,
last night's games we went.
Yeah, I was going to say, my teams at Adams were so small. Ask me how small they were.
How small were they?
I had 6'4" centers.
That's pretty big.
No, not in 4A.
Okay. I took a team to DeMatha, and my center was 6'4".
We were going to let them get the tip, but we knew they tip it. Everybody turns and walks to the other end, right, and gets set up for the first half court. We trapped that dude. We ran 2 people at him. We ran 2 people at him.
100%.
We left 1 people back. We ran 2 people to the wings because that's where guys are going to come back. We're trapping them off the first. We're going to let you have the jump ball.
Why not?
We trapped them. Now, who
turn them over?
Tomorrow night, you watch Jimtown. Jimtown will do the same thing. They lose the tip, and then they jump the first possession. They're in a half court trap coming right up, because what happens? All the other guys is brain dead. They go get in their spot that they're supposed to for the first play that was drawn up on the chalkboard, right? Go trap the point guard.
So when I was coaching in Mishawaka, Chad had great teams at Adams, Quintez, Columbus, great teams, and they trapped the hell out of us from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you coach kids to press, yeah, they got to be tough, but you can make them tough.
Oh yeah,
you can get them in shape, right?
Oh sure, that's just part of it.
Come on, man.
Hey, the 2 games we saw last night, Penn
beat the hell out of.
I think they impressed me probably as much as any of the 4 teams. They were good for 4 quarters last night. And I tell you what, I enjoyed watching 4A basketball because we sat underneath the basket. Think how many times in that first quarter there was contact, no call, no whistle. They played through it. You kept going, that's a foul. Wasn't last night. A lot of the contact was offensive initiated. Where the drive to the basket, you're bumping and then coming back up.
What do you got, WKRP?
32 years now for Michigan City without a sectional title since they consolidated.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
They had to cross time zones, by the way.
Here's a question for you, Kenny.
Okay.
All-time leading scorer at John Adams High School is who? Come on.
It's Jimmy King, isn't it?
Jimmy Webb.
Jimmy Webb.
Jimmy Webb, yes.
Adams, great players, right, in their history, right?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Second all-time leading scorer at Adams High School.
Not you.
Mike Cass told us last night, didn't he?
Yeah, Jarvis Tolbert.
Okay.
The plays for Adams this year out of Booney Hill, out of T.C. Jameson, out of Val Martin, out of Lynn Mitchum.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn Mitchum.
They're on those lists.
Chicken Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys. Jarvis Tolbert is the second all-time leading scorer.
Because he's played varsity for all 4 years.
Yeah.
How about Riley last night? They couldn't throw it in the ocean.
18-12. They're down at halftime.
It was a rock fight.
Yeah, 18-12.
They just came down. They were shooting. It was like my turn. Okay, your turn. They built enough for a new renovation.
So yeah. But what did Alex do at halftime? Came out. They picked the intensity up. They pressed all over the court. They outscored LaPorte 27-5 in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it was like 15-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, to start the third quarter. So Friday night, you ain't going to be there. You're going to
Laville. Yep, that's where the money is.
You can't get Johnny be good to do a 4A.
You guys have got 4 different groups. There's going to be 4 different videos over there.
And you
it's
really
saturated.
And you really can't go through with the advertising dollars and try to get all it, because there's not enough advertising dollars here for us to do. 4A.
Well, I can tell you what I'm doing. St. Joe against Adams.
You got St. Joe Adams.
And then Riley Penn.
I'll
call you and you tell me which game you think is better.
I can tell you right now.
Who are you doing?
We are doing the 2A at LaVille, and we have Career Academy in Bremen, and we have Jimtown and Knox. And Knox was an upset.
Boy.
Remember the other day I told people there will be an upset at the LaVille section. It was Knox. Knox was 7-14. He had a 19-3 Winnemac team, and it really exposed Winnemac their schedule, lack of schedule. But you and you know who the best player for Knox is
Miles McLaughlin,
their Mr. Football
running back,
and he carried them pretty much in that game the other night when they beat Winnemac. But
yeah,
that's setting up to be a Bremen Jimtown final. If that's the case, that should be one heck of a game.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that would be.
Jimtown had him on the ropes.
Ryan Varga. He's coaching his brains out, right?
Yeah.
Well, so what do we got at Elkhart?
Right here, Elkhart Warsaw. His first game, so Bodie's got to get a rematch with Warsaw.
He beat Warsaw early in the season.
It is an NLC foursome, like the Mishawaka is an NIC. The Duneland schools are all out at Mishawaka, and they're left over at Chesterton. And then the Northridge Goshen game. Northridge, second year in a row, they've won 20 games. They're 21-1 right now, and somebody's gonna have to play awfully well to beat them.
Yeah,
Scott Radiker is just a quality great.
Somebody's got to play awfully well to beat them. You know, now one of the things.
Give me some Indy stuff.
Well, that's
what do we got?
So I was looking at. You know, we were talking all about that Carmel sectional or the Noblesville sectional. The Tuesday night, Noblesville, Zionsville. It was close the whole. Matter of fact, when I was watching, I think Zionsville was ahead like 15-5. Noblesville comes back and wins 42-38. So Noblesville will open up Friday night's game with Carmel. All right. So that'll be a big one. 16-5 Carmel. Noblesville is 13-10. Second game, HSE and Westfield the other night. Close one, 68-61. So you got the neighbors, Fishers and HSE.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy, Shane Sumter at Westfield.
So
just does a great job.
Those 6 teams were the 6 strongest in that sectional, not only the sectional, but that whole entire semi-state. So that one's the grinder. And with the rematches and everything, here's some of the stuff that I'd looked at. Tuesday and Wednesday night, with the way they've got things set up, are mostly 1A, 2A games. There's very few 4A games. There's a lot of 4-team sectionals now in 4A because they have only 75 teams. So you divide 75 by 4, and that comes out to 4 or 5 teams.
75 divided by 4.
The issue I have,
there's a half a team in there somewhere.
There's two Fort Wayne sectionals this year, and they're both 4 teams. So they don't play till Friday night. So Mishawaka is the biggest sectional numbers wise in 4A. They've got 7 teams. Now, why they didn't spread them out? Why didn't they send Penn over to Elkhart? Why didn't they send Goshen or somebody over toward Homestead?
You should have asked Robert that. Why didn't you ask Robert that, WKRP?
That's all success factors.
Talking about the shot clock.
So your early games that we had, 4A, your big games, and what I did was I looked at the power ratings and how many 1 and 2 seeds lost if you were going to seed the tournament.
Okay, yeah.
So I looked at the power ratings at each sectional. Chesterton and Portage, that was 1 versus 2. Chesterton wins 56-46.
And that was chalk.
That's chalk.
That's chalk.
You had an upset down at Greenfield. Anderson was a 3. They beat Pendleton on the last shot of the game. Donnie Bowling Jr. Hit a running 10-foot layup.
I saw that. Yeah.
53-51. The Noblesville HSC game. So really, there were 4 decent games on Tuesday night and Wednesday night in 4A. 3A, we had a number 1 get beat over here in the region. Ileana Christian was the 1. Hanover Central was the 2. And 39-30. So there's a number 1 that's out. Over in Fort Wayne, Blackhawk Christian beat number 2 Angola. Yorktown was number 1. They beat Jay County, who was a 2 in 3A. I could go on and on. In 2A, number 1 Seeger, which was really the weakest sectional maybe in the state. Right. North Montgomery was the 5 seed and beat them. Oak Hill beat number 2 Manchester. Blackford was number 1. They beat Alexandria number 2. Park Heritage was a 1. They beat Greencastle, who was a 2. So there were some 1s and 2s in the 2A in their particular sectionals that the conspiracy theorists put them in opposite brackets so they can play in the final game of the sectional. You know, that's their argument. 1A had a couple of them, but tomorrow night's going to be fun. Tomorrow night's when it gets busy.
Yeah, and then your big game, championship Saturday.
Here's your big games Friday. Down at Noblesville, you got, and these are the top 10s. I got away from second. Literally the top 10 teams in the state. You've got number 1 undefeated Fishers is playing HSC, who's number 12. Over at Plainfield, you've got number 3 Pike against number 5 Plainfield. Those are the 2 toughest sectionals, with Mishawaka being the 3rd. Your 3A over here east of us, Columbia City's number 6 in the state in 3A. They play number 11 Fairfield.
And I think we'll have that game on Broadcast Sport tomorrow night. Yep.
Well, and people can tune into that.
Yep.
What's nice about the tournament, and for you people listening, you can watch all these games for free right now. Any game in the state, you get on my IHSAA.
Yeah, but
for the Indiana Champions Network, and you can watch our game. You can watch Hex games at Mishawaka, or and then when you get done with them, you can go down. You can watch those Noblesville games.
You need to get on RRSN to watch St. Joe, and then watch Penn and Riley on Regional Radio Sportsnet.
That's
to
fine.
watch yours. You need
There's
to
your
get on
advertising.
Broadcast Sport Net.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is you can find all those. They will divert you to the IHSA network.
I still think Fishers will be a tough game, but a tough team to beat. I think they will.
And I haven't paid attention. Is Gardner playing yet? I don't think he is.
Well, I don't know, but I just saw some clips, and again, they have a freshman that's about 6'8", who's amazing. Hey, our sponsors, again, they're amazing. They are great. Tony Letcher Health Markets, Ben Harbor from Harbor Reedaville in Anderson, Hahn Funeral Home, the great Pat Hahn, Rick Fricks Driving Center from South Bend, Indiana, Black Sedan Band. Our sponsors are amazing. WKRP here to Pat's right.
Just a reminder that we'll have both games at the LaVille sectional pregame. At 5:40.
5:40
tomorrow night from LaVille.
We have a 6:00 start. Your games are 6:30, right?
6:30. Tune in about 6:10 to hear me and the great Paul Condry. And I mean, don't mess with any IHSA stuff. Tune in to regionalradiosports.net. Right. Those St. Joe games are courtesy of the late, great Dave Kuzmits, who was just a great player at St. Joe, and those games are broadcast in his memory.
Yep.
We will see you people next week. We'll talk some more basketball.
Well, yeah, but here's the question. Can turkeys really fly?
Say good night, Gladys.
Good night. Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.
Get the applause meter going, yes.
Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.